I'm Mel Stewart, and this is a GMM takeover of the SwimSwam Podcast. Joining me today, Nimrod Shapira, a force in the pool and out of the pool. In the pool, NCAA champion, Olympian, out of the pool on the dry side, an entrepreneur you want to hear from, very successful in the learn to swim space. Buddy, thanks for coming back on the pod.
Thank you, Mel.
This episode of the SwimSwam Podcast is sponsored by Commit Swimming, SwimSwam's exclusive team management software partner. Since 2015, Commit has been providing coaches with swimming's leading workout management software. And now, Commit has team management software too. Commit wants to help you make the switch from Team Unify to a simpler, more powerful solution. Their onboarding and customer service team will walk you through every step of the way. Check them out at commitswimming.com to book your demo today. That's COMMIT swimming.com.
In our last conversation, you had a lot to say, and I've got some feedback from it. I got some feedback from coaches and from swimmers, but I got some feedback from coaches who felt a little insecure, like maybe you weren't talking to them. So I wonder if we're going to address them a little bit in this, and address swimmers who I spoke to, who said, hey, I'm not an Olympian, but do you feel like I have the oomph to do this? Your belief is that swimmers have a superpower, and that's a bold statement. So let's begin with this. The superpower of swimmers is being a swimmer. Break that down for me. What do you think swimmers forget they know already?
I think all swimmers, and me included, right? We forget the grind that we have done when we were active swimmers, right? Waking up 5 a.m, getting a workout in, going to school, going after that, having a second workout of the day. I think in a day I've probably accomplished a workout that is more than I do in a week now, right? And that's the life of a swimmer, is always showing up even when you're not feeling 100%. And that is a superpower, because in business it's the same thing. Not every day is sunshine and rainbows. Running a business, again, we talked about it the first time. I see business as a sport, and every day that you show up, you have new surprises, and not every day you're feeling the greatest, and you still need to be present, and you need to get the most out of it. And not only that, swimming is all about the small details. So in swimming, right, I made my first Olympics, I think, by 6/100ths of a second. You take that into the business world, and you're finding how to make yourself win an event by 6/100ths of a second, you're going to have a very good chance to succeed. If you know how to pay attention to the small details and implement that into business, you are 100 miles ahead of the competition.
All about grind. It's all about edge. It's all about baby steps, and it's the small things that make us successful, doing them day over day. A part of your story is that you began with $482 in your pocket, which is a fantastic origin story for an entrepreneur. What was your mindset back then? That's a scary place. You've got nothing. You've also got nothing to lose, but $482 is nothing. What was going through your mind in those early days?
I talk about it a lot because I think that was another superpower that I personally had. I was a survivor, right? And when you're in that corner, like exactly like you said, there isn't much that you can lose, right? What do I lose? $482. There isn't much to it. And the risks that I was willing to take, and combining that with, again, the grind and the small details and all of that, I was able to take that $480 and rent my first lane line. And I think that's the mentality that, again, as an immigrant in the US, not having a safety net, not having too many options, you had to make it work. Either that, or I didn't have food on the table. I always had food on the table. I don't want to exaggerate, but my point is, when you're pushed into a corner, I think those are some of the best opportunities that you have. And one of my greatest mentors told me about this Chinese saying that I love and I adopted. Every crisis has a hidden opportunity. And if you are able to look at life this way and you are able to say, hey, I'm going through this difficult time or I'm pushed into a corner, if you're able to figure that out, nothing can stop you.
Swimmers forget more than most people will ever know about the sport. This is a conversation that comes up all the time. It's coming up in the background with a lot of my Olympic peers. And as somebody who owns a business, I keep saying, you don't sell yourself short. You know more about the sport than most people do. You've forgotten more about the sport than most people will ever know. You're very intimate with this understanding. Break that down. Explain it to me. Explain it to any swimmer out there who's thinking, hey, could I leave my sport with some rocket fuel and enter a new industry?
First, I think if you swim high school and then you swim in college, just in that period of time, you have about 10 years of experience. That's just so valuable, right? I'm starting now my second chain of swim school, Fintastic Swim Academy. And if I have somebody that will come to my doorsteps that have 10 years in running swim lessons or running swim schools, that's gold for me. So just thinking about the knowledge that we have as swimmers and coaches, you have a minimum. Everyone that graduate college and even high school, you have about 10 years of experience minimum. So that's so valuable as it is. But going back to the small details, the fact that you have 10 plus years of experience, you are able to go down to those small details that most of your competitors will not be able to get. And that's, for me, that's culture. Like, that's how I set my previous business. That's how I'm setting Fintastic Swim Academy. And I call it perfection is limitless. Again, one of my greatest coaches told me, hey, Nim, after one of my greatest races, he told me, hey, Nim, you did great, but perfection is limitless. And that was after I just made the semifinals at the Olympics. And that really stuck with me. That's changed me, because the fact that you understand the sport so well allows you to dive so deep into the industry, and you are able to build something, I think, really special.
For those of you out there who may not remember Nimrod was a 42.3 100-yard free, 133.5 200-yard free, 143.7 200 fly. What were you in the 200 IM? I keep forgetting that one.
141, I believe, 142.
I would just, through the annals of time, I'd be like 139.9. But and
No,
140.
I wasn't that fast. I didn't have breaststroke. I can tell you that I swam my 200 IM 141 and a change with like a 36 breaststroke. I had the fastest. I opened at 21 low in the fly. Like, I was flying, and then everyone just, I could never swim breaststroke. And that was my philosophy and my coaches: focus on what you're good at. And that's, again, I take that to business. Focus on the core business. Focus on what you're good at. And it goes back to the last question you just had. What do swimmers have? You have swimming. Focus on that. Why go and dump all that knowledge and move and do something else in corporate? Do it if you love it and if you have passion to chase another dream. But if you're very passionate about swimming, use that knowledge.
I bring up your swimming prowess just to say, hey, here's Nimrod in the pantheon of the sport. It's legit. You're an elite, and it's a I know that you have a certain lifestyle when you swim, and there's also things that you do when you're in business. What is something that you did as an elite athlete, and what's something that you do that in business is daily that's very, very close?
You show up every day. And swimming, the cool thing about swimming, for me, it was also the Olympic mission, right? To make it to the Olympics every 4 years. So that's allowing you to build very long-term goals and dreams. So taking those goals and dreams and building a plan, that's exactly business. I mean, you show up every day to swim practice, you show up every day to your business and your goals and your dreams, and you take one small step forward. And even if you take a step and you fail, right? In swimming, I had some horrible practices, I had some horrible swim meets, but you learned from them. And that is business. Like, that's what I'm trying to pass the message to the swim community. We are built for business. I think we are such a unique sport because we are individuals and we also have the team aspect, and you have the grind like no other sport. I think that's what I'm bringing from elite swimming to business.
I think a lot of people swim their entire career and it's hard. It's exhausting. It's so much dedication, it's just so much time. Um, and they retire and then they seem like they're lost. And what advice do you have for people like that? Because we witness that a lot.
Um, I don't think you're lost. You just need to move to a new lane, right? You need to take that passion, that habits. I call it mental habits, right? If you have done something for 10 years, you have created your persona, your mental habits are in, like, it's in your DNA. So take that, take everything swimming gave you and just apply it to another lane. Just move over to another lane. I know back in Arizona, we have the lanes for IM swimmers, the lanes for breaststrokes, freestyle, distance, and sprint. I always wanted to move myself to Rick Demont, right, to the sprint lanes. So like, just take that passion, and it doesn't mean that you have to stay in the same lane. You just finished with your long distance. Sorry to say it, but sometimes boring practices and long training hours. Move it over and find the lane that fits you.
You've had a lot of coaches. You've been coached by a lot of great coaches. But now you're doing that in business. What advice do you have, and what's your experience and wisdom going from being coached to now being someone who is leading in business?
As an athlete, you chase your goals, right? Even if you're on a team, and I was on a team, on a few teams, you chase you. It's always about you, right? Swimming has relays, and I'm an NCAA champion on a relay. But at the end of the day, it's a very individualized sport. You swim in your own lane by yourself. So it's all about you. When you coach people, or when you build a team, and the team that I've built and the team that I'm building now, I am really excited to see other people succeed. Seeing their success is my success. And some people that come to me after they had a job or few jobs, they find it very hard to understand when I tell them, I want you to be super successful, because the more successful you are, the more successful I am. They're like, what? My previous boss just wanted me to do everything he says, or grind. And I'm like, no, my perspective is the more you're successful, the more you are happy mentally, emotionally in the workplace, the more successful we'll see in the business. So I think it's just a switch from a me thinking into a we. What can we do together? How can we be successful?
For anybody who's getting to know you, they might be saying, "Hey, I got it. Nimrod's an Olympian. He's an NCAA champion. He runs a business, but what's he doing on a podcast?" Well, what you need to know is that he exited to private equity. He sold out to private equity. It's a major milestone. It's something that most people, if you're in business and you're not moving toward an exit and a big sell, you're not really in business. What advice do you have to young swimmers who know that they have the grit to be entrepreneurial? What do you say to them about this journey to exiting and selling your business? What advice do you have? What have you learned?
I agree with what you say 110%. In my opinion, and that's a really opposite, Mel, to what a lot of people tell you, right? In school, in business school, and all those different mentors will tell you, don't ever build your business to sell. Build it so you keep it, because you don't know what's going to happen. I think the opposite. The last few years of my previous business, I've built it to sell. And the same, like, that's the philosophy that I have. Why? Because again, this is not about me. The first 5 years of me in business, I was thinking about me. How am I creating what I want? But that doesn't necessarily mean that you can duplicate it times 100 staff members. If you want to build a team of 20, 50, 100, 200 staff members and impact and make a big impact, you have to build systems, you have to build procedures, and that's not about you. That's not about what system works for you. That's what system works for other people. And for that, you have to constantly ask yourself, how can somebody else manage this business? How can I build it so it's operating when I'm not here, and I can keep scaling and growing and doing what I really want to do? So that's my biggest advice, and I agree with you. It's build it in the mentality that you want to sell, because that will help you, in my opinion, grow the people around you. You don't have to sell, and I might keep my coin business for 20 years, but I'm building it. And I say to my staff, and sometimes they will laugh at me, if a truck hits me tomorrow, you all still get paid in 2 weeks. The business is still running, and I want you to know what you need to do. Like, the business cannot, exist and not exist because of just one person.
That's right. You build a brand to be separate from yourself. That's one of the proudest things that I've accomplished in the sport is like, yeah, I'm a part of SwimSwam. I founded SwimSwam with my co-founders, but it stands outside of me. And for a lot of time, for many years, people were like, "Oh, it's your SwimSwam." I'm like, "No, I'm not." Build that business to be separate from you, to live without you, to live past you, to live on, to be sellable. It's a yeah, we live in a unique time where, let me, excuse me. I got lost in my thought there, but I thought that when I was retired and I got into my 20s that I would have to really grind and carve out a new career, and that my ideas they needed to bake and I needed to gain wisdom. And what I learned was that I was great in my late 20s. I was great in my early 30s. And if I was in the corporate world, people that were in their 40s and 50s might have had a little bit of wisdom and experience, but they didn't necessarily know more and they couldn't do as much. They were tired. You're fantastic coming out of your career. Your mind is sharp and you're creative and you'll take chances. I know that you want to build an army with Fintastic Swim Academy, and you want to go out there and get after it. Talking to somebody who's in their late 20s or early 30s, it's like, can you hold their hand and get them there? It's like, hey, I want to do this. I want to take my knowledge and swim, but can you hold their hand and get them there when they're young?
I think before I hold their hand or I teach people the rope or we pass the wisdom forward, you have to have people take that mental aspect that they had as swimmers, right? That it's a long journey, it's a process, you're going to fail a lot. I want to do something that I'm chasing dreams and I'm chasing goals. And it can be in corporate world, it can be as an employee, it can be in opening the next SwimSwam or opening the next Fintastic Swim Academy. It doesn't matter. But I think you have to find that core value of what you want to do, what kind of impact you want to make, and make that decision, right? Like most people, and I just had a conversation yesterday with a friend. Most people, even our closest circle, our families, our parents, our best friends, sometimes our spouses, okay, will tell us why not to do it. Okay, don't get this job, don't buy this house, don't invest in this, don't open the swim school, right? I'm sure plenty of people told you don't do that. But you have to figure out why you do want to do that. And it has to be very strong, because you're going to have a lot of ups and downs. Not everything is sunshine and rainbows, right? I sold my business. I did very well for myself, but I had moments that I was still back to a corner. And I think that's something that you need to realize, the good and the bad as a swimmer. And you have to make a decision. And once you make that decision, it's easy, in my opinion, because the information is out there. The resources are out there, the people, the mentors. I'm not a genius by any means, and no offense, to you, but I don't think anyone here is a genius. I think it's just people that just decided they want to do something by 110%, and then they went all in. I don't believe in not going all in. I'm just not the type of person. And obviously, after I sold my business, I had a bunch of people, and still every day I get phone calls, invest in this and do that. If I cannot be 110% in, I just don't feel I'm chasing my Olympic goals, right? My Olympic dreams. And like I said in the first podcast, my goal as a swimmer was always to be an Olympian. Now I want to be an Olympic medalist in business. In order to do that, you have to be 110% in. And I think that's the biggest advice I'll give people. Don't listen to the no, and be 110% in what you do, and know that it's going to take time. You're not going to, I've done with my previous business for 11 years. It takes time. SwimSwam took you how long to bring to where it is today. But some people just want the instant. And I think swimmers do not have that flaw. I think swimmers know that a season is long. 4 years in high school, 4 years in college, that's a long period of time. Just take that and adapt that into your, career, whatever you choose.
You're taking fantastic brands and you're going wide. Fintastic Swim Academy, you're going wide. What is your mission? What do you want to accomplish?
I want to make impact. I want to prevent preventable drownings, period. Like, I drowned when I was 7, and that's something that impacted me. And then I saw a business opportunity in joining that journey. And for me, that's my mission. I want to do, and I want to run business in a good way that impacts our members, impact our staff. And for us, it's to do it by a positive way. We don't want to only care about business and bottom line. We really want to create a community. And that's something that I think we have done a good job over the years. I want to get to that great level. I want to get to that organization level that people talk about, not just about swim lessons.
If you're out there listening, we're going to drop in the show notes how you can get in touch with Nimrod and start this conversation, because he wants you to go on this journey with him. As a final follow-up, I just wanted to cover this. This is something I was thinking through, and I was building out these questions. If every swimmer realized they were 100 steps ahead in business, they would what?
Stop doubting, stop listening to other people, and just go all in.
It's that simple.
Because all swimmers are 100 steps ahead in our industry. And you know what? I think all athletes in general are probably 50 steps ahead, right? But I think swimmers in particular, in our industry that I'm talking about, which is swim lessons, you are 100 steps away. I know that the industry inside out, and I think swimmers should just, once they believe in themselves and they stop listening to the 100 million reasons why not to do it, they will find a very interesting journey and very fulfilling and also a very good career.
You've been listening to the SwimSwam Podcast. Stay tuned for new episodes every week. You can take SwimSwam Podcast on the go by subscribing on your favorite podcast platform. Look for links in the description below, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos as well.